All right. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope that everybody had an excellent weekend. Every year we have a Krampus party kind of thing, and we always do it very early in December because it's a very small, intimate gathering. And it would be terrible if you had to choose between going to our event or going to a larger event. But it was a lot of fun. There was plenty of good food to be had, and we played some games. It was excellent. So I hope everyone else also had an excellent weekend. Papa Joey, how are you doing? Today's talk is actually the thing that made me want to start doing these live conversations. For those that know about the Southcacks, they're another channel on YouTube. Dustin Southcack is actually my birthday buddy, or he would be if we were in third grade, but we share the same birthday. And I was watching one of his videos where he was talking about how people, once someone gets really big in a sphere like the supernatural paranormal, they begin to represent the supernatural and paranormal, and then you have debunkers that come along and they'll find something that, oh, this is not correct, this is, either they think it's nonsense or it is in fact nonsense, and they'll use that to like cast a shadow over all things, all channels, it just becomes like this really easy one-word answer, like, well, what about these people? I caught these people. It's like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So when I saw that, I actually sent him a message on Twitter, and I let him know that I agree with him 100% that it's terrible, and we have channels that go and do these ghost investigations and things like that. Papa Joey and The Truth About Beer, right? And Uncle Tim, and love them. Hey, yeah, the Southcack's here. Dustin Southcack. What's going on, bud? So we have all these channels that do these things, and it's excellent. I especially, I'm not going to say I like it, but when a channel goes out and does not find something, this is in my head evidence of some honesty, right? So, but when you get bigger and you start making money, there is an incentive, a monetary incentive to go and exaggerate or even fabricate, right? And in doing that, these people, they're not thinking about the community as a whole right now. They're thinking about the bottom dollar. They made $3 and they want to make $4, right? Or $3 more, or whatever the case is. I'm sure when it comes to big channels, the numbers are actually much bigger than that. But you guys understand. Everyone here can understand how you can excuse people. People will excuse cheating. They'll justify what they're doing without thinking about how it's affecting people around them. And that's not just this is for across the board. I remember years ago when TV was bigger than it is now, Sammy showed me one, like, we'll call it like a paranormal type show. And she was like, well, what do you think of this? And I watched it, and I did not like it. And she said, well, why? What's wrong with this? And I'm not going to mention the name of the show. Actually, I don't know that I'd remember. Like, if I saw all the shows, I'd be able, that's the one right there. It's those people. But what happened was they were in the kitchen at one part, and two of them were stressing about money. Now, I know how much a camera costs for TV. Pardon me. They're so expensive that most of the time they're just rented. People don't even own these. So I know that whoever, maybe A&E or whoever sent over these cameras, these people were not struggling monetarily anymore. So when they went into the kitchen and had this whole conversation about how, oh no, I don't know what we're gonna do, at that point you have tainted the investigation for me. You have, because I know that you are not against exaggerating or straight fabricating to get my eyes to pay attention to what's going on the screen. Um, and it's like they think I don't know how much that camera's worth. They think that I'm not aware that there's a camera even on them, even if you didn't know how much the camera was worth, right? Even if you didn't have that data, that camera exists there, and it's being held by somebody, right? So that person's getting paid, and the camera has to cost something, right? You have to imagine there's a boom mic somewhere, if not several. Lighting, from experience, I will tell you, lighting is a pain in the butt. Now, again, some other people might not have that experience, but I'm like, it's the truth. Lighting for something for TV is complicated to the point where at the lower level guys, if you are hiring someone to be a cameraman, and now it's a little easier too. What's going on? It's getting easier now too because electronics are becoming cheaper because technology improves so rapidly now. So you might have someone with, we'll say like a $2,000 camera. My little brother's one of these people. He has a $2,000 camera, and with it, he bought a like a light kit. And so when he puts himself out there, I am not just a cameraman. I have my own lighting equipment and know how to use it. This is valuable. Yeah, Papa Joey, there it is. It's the biggest pain to get right. Small side note. Back in the day when everything was in black and white, lighting was a lot easier. It's a lot easier to light in black and white, and that's why even after color became available, some people kind of lingered in black and white a little bit. It was just a little easier to get right. So it's a little bit of, I guess, Hollywood trivia, right, for everybody. So there are other concerns aside from the fact that cheating could be incentivized in this realm. I call them legitimate because there's plenty of illegitimate concerns. People complain about, oh, I had to tie my shoes and it's your fault. But for legitimate concerns, things that I can connect to, right? The number one legitimate concern is that it is difficult to create. It is difficult to find reproducible evidence, experiments, and that is, by many standards, the cornerstone of science. But there is this thing called soft science, and soft science is things like psychology. And I bring this up because psychology the experiments can't be reproduced very easily because everybody is different. I can say the same words to everybody, and we don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. In fact, it might even be more valuable to me if you tell me how you accepted what I said. Did you feel offended? Did you think I was attacking you? Did you take it as a friendly critique? Whatever that is, it actually tells me a lot about you. Everyone, Sandy has a little flashlight, so she's not going to be very good at, I mean, she might be able to hold the camera steady, but she can't do the lighting with the flashlight. So, just so everyone knows. So, in my opinion, any kind of paranormal investigation, because we're going outside of things that we can normally grasp, things that we can grasp easily, and quantum physics teaches in small ways, and I don't know, not like I don't have any, actually I have one quantum film, but anyway, I've not read all of it. I'll look things up from time to time. You can find this information on YouTube. It's not difficult. There was the double slit experiment. That's what you would want to look up, and you can find videos that are very easy to digest about the double slit experiment. And what it did was, it was very exciting. It showed that observing the experiment changed the result. And that sounds absolutely insane, but you can look this up. This is actual quantum physics. They expected to see, I forget what pattern, but I think they got the interference pattern when they observed. It's not important. The fact of the matter is, you can look this up if you want to. It's the double slit experiment, quantum physics. See if you can find they got some animated ones that are pretty good, because then you can see they'll like actually animate like the electron or whatever, and see the little light go and the waves. So I don't see people running around trying to debunk quantum physics, so or psychology, right? So we have sciences that we'll say are a little softer. They can't be easily reproduced. That's fair. That's fair. That's not just, I'm not just carving out, well, for supernatural stuff you have to make this exception. No, no, no. There are other respected area of sciences of expected areas of science where this accommodation is already made. And then the second legitimate concern is the concern for exploitation. Historically, you have had swindlers and people with questionable morals, flexible morals, that engaged in this sort of behavior because, again, there was an incentive to make some money. Even today, we have psychics and mediums, and I'm not going to say they're all fake. That's not what I'm saying at all, but I will tell you, I'll see if I can find it. There was a book, it was called The Magical Years. I don't recall what the magician was. It's an out-of-print magic book, and I own it. I have worked as an up-close strolling magician, which is kind of like street magic, but I don't do any disgusting stuff, or did not. I don't do that anymore. And I used to pitch magic decks in flea markets. So I acquired this out-of-print. It should be in my basement in one of my boxes, but I do have a lot of boxes, and I have a surprising amount of books. So, but one of these days I'll show it off. But it was either that one or there's another book that I have, and the guy teaches you how he would charge for psychic readings via letter, right? Because these books are old. And what he would do is you would send him 3 photos and some money, and then he would send you back the reading. Well, he teaches how he did the reading in the book. He's like, yeah, I was looking for things. First off, the pictures that are chosen kind of reflect what the person wants you to see, right? If someone is not very happy, within 3 pictures, you're gonna start picking up on, well, why did you send these 3 pictures? And so we just started talking, like reverse engineering the process. This person was fake, completely fake. And again, I'm not saying that none of these people are real, but I'm telling you that if I wanted to, I could go and play that game, and I would have a leg up because at least I have some instruction on how to do it, right? Gamma, how are you doing? So, okay. There are other reasons to debunk, but they're not strong enough, I believe, to motivate someone to debunk, right? So again, my shoes, this and that, it's good enough to have somebody complain a little bit, but for them to actually go and say, I'm going to go now and dedicate my time. I'm going to start watching all these videos, and then when I find them, and I say, oh, I got them, and then I'm going to jump up like Grandpa Joe in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I've got the golden ticket now. I've got them for real. So this sort of, for lack of a better term, this fetishizing of catching people, there has to be, the motivation has to kind of match the action. So the amount of action that's being taken, we can cut a lot of nonsense clean off. All right, so let's talk about some not great reasons to debunk. And what I mean is, like, these are reasons that could exist, but and I think the majority of these are actually probable. I think when we're looking at a debunker, this is what we're really looking at. There is a possibility that maybe somebody got swindled or got taken advantage of, and now they're on a crusade, right? It's a mission, but I don't think that's what we are looking at. My first thing about it, and again, like, if you think about how the thumbnail for this was very dramatic, why are they so angry? And it's because they do appear to be angry to me. Give me one moment. Anger is drama, and drama is it's not a constant. And when things aren't constant, our minds you have to watch, because it could signify danger, right? If everybody's acting normal, we're calm. If somebody starts walking backwards towards us, that's bizarre. We can't take our eyes off of that person. It's weird, and that means it can be dangerous, right? So, the amount of excitement that they're getting, I don't think it's for all that. I think that's for show. And if that's for show, the show has to have a purpose, and that's my first point for why they're so like half-cocked. Debunking is incentivized, so pretend that it's not is ridiculous. For someone to go and debunk something, they're doing this for the money. Whoa. I'm not saying they're not doing it for the money, but that person went and invested their time and effort, and at the very worst, they learned how to perform some sort of trick using camera or light or some mechanical tool or something like that, where what you did is you sat in your room watching some video and then you point at little things on a screen, okay? So one person's putting in way more effort, all right? And yes, if you're big enough, it is incentivized, sure, not a problem, won't even argue it. But here you are putting in way less effort. How easy is it for me? There are people that like Elon Musk. He builds that cyber car. I could sit here and talk about how it looks like the car that a villain would drive in some 1980s, in the future, right? It would take me seconds to do that. All right, where it took Elon Musk spent tons of time and energy and had people to go and build the car. I can tear it down in half a second. It doesn't. These are not the same thing. You should not be paying as close attention to me, someone who has almost nothing. The minimum amount that could be invested by someone is what debunkers do. Now, if they went out themselves, right, and they're like, I'm out here and nothing happened, that still is not debunking, because sometimes that's how it works. But at the same time, you were out there, you got the equipment, right? You invested something. You invested something real. So whether it's if it is incentivized, well, at least you went out and you did a song and dance, right? All right, you got the equipment, you made the effort. There we go, effort. That's the word. All right. So debunking is not only incentivized, but it's low effort incentivized. The second bad reason for debunking is cognitive dissonance. Now, this one is a little less we'll say nefarious. Some people can be very close-minded, and you know what? I mean, honestly, even among there are people that are Bigfoot believers that are close-minded, right? That's fair. Just because you believe that Bigfoot is possible or aliens are possible doesn't mean you're not close-minded in other areas. So I don't want people to think that that's what I'm saying, that, oh, well, this is closed-minded and I don't draw, and cut lines fine like that. It's a case-by-case thing. But so you have people that are closed-minded, and when they are presented with something that contradicts their worldview or what they find to be possible, they react, oftentimes poorly, right? You can see this across the board. As someone that was raised in churches, I will tell you from experience, I've seen a lot of this in churches. You go and you say something like, well, this is a kind of strange thing, and you get a very quick, nope, it's not like that. It doesn't say anything about that in the Bible. And it's like, well, I don't know if there's zebras in the Bible, but there's zebras over here, and I don't know if Australia's ever mentioned, but that's where that place is. And these people get nervous when they're not dealing with cut and dry absolute truths, right? And it creates a lot of pressure. And the reason why this made this list is because, well, at first I thought, is this really something that would get somebody to debunk online, right? Is this enough motivation? But when I thought about it, and I thought about the churches, there were plenty of people that would do just terrible, I remember telling one of them, what you're doing right now is really bad press for God. I don't think God wants you doing this. What are you doing? Because they would go and they were almost it's like some combination of snarky and vicious in the things that they would say and in their mannerisms and in their actions. And this is terrible. It's do you think God wants you to do this? Well, God wants me to tell people the truth. Whoa. I'm not saying to lie. Never said that. But fact of the matter is, right now, people are reading you like you are the Bible, and because, again, it's the same idea as the paranormal investigators. If you're the only person they know that represents this community, you're going to make everybody look like a psycho. And After that, the person was really rational and changed their life. No, of course that didn't happen. They were a closed-minded individual. They probably went ahead and said something like, I'll pray. They gave me some kind of platitude or something and walked off, and I was like, all right, well, see ya. Okay. Religion is very closed-minded. Yeah. That's the crazy thing right there. When I was working at the vaccine manufacturing facility, one of the managers there was like, you like read the Bible? I was like, yeah. And he goes, but you're supposed to be like this science guy. And I was like, I am. Like, I am a science guy. I don't understand how these things are mutually exclusive. One of these helps me makes me more mindful of things that are not material, and the other one is based on things that are very material, and same thing with like Bigfoot. I don't know, maybe there's like, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if you told me there were groups on like Facebook, like Christians Against Bigfoot or something, because it's some of them can be extremely like to the point where it's frustratingly close-minded, but it's okay. Maybe one day they will see something that challenges their worldview, right? That number 2, cognitive dissonance, and maybe they'll be forced to resolve it in a way where the end result is, I don't have all the answers, but that's okay, which would be the most ideal. Okay. Personal bias. All right, this is very close to cognitive dissonance, but there's a hair of a difference. You have people, we'll just go with religion because we've spoken about it now for so long, where they believe in whatever it is they believe in. I believe in this right here. You have people that believe for things, right? But you also can have people that just believe against things. Using religion, there are people that have, I call them religion allergies, right? If you say anything, I could say something really great, and they'd be like, that's awesome. And I'd be like, yeah, that's actually, I read that was in Proverbs, and now, oh no, I don't like that at all. It's okay, you have an allergy. That's okay. It's fine by me. If you want, we can find other people that have said this too. I've read Ajahn Brahm's books, but they're not, Ajahn Brahm is a Buddhist monk. I've read his books, but they're not organized like the Bible, where you can reference chapter and verse, but I'm sure if we looked, we can find it in there, like whatever form you need this in. But the idea that, oh well, if this was said by, then it's automatically bad, this is a bias. And you will find some debunkers, I'm sure, have this bias, that no matter what evidence is presented to them, they will ignore and only pay attention to evidence that supports their like presupposition. Yeah, religious persons are usually black and white, simpler. That's true. Also, very interesting. I use the word religion here because it's the word that's very common to use, but the word religion and the word regulate come from the same like Latin root, and it means to bind. That's why when you have like with me, if someone in my personal comings and goings, they're like, you're religious. No, I have faith. It is different. Religion is, it's like people trying to put themselves in a position where they can reach God. This is insane. If I'm in my car, my dogs, there's nothing they can do to get to me, to my car. They're not going to scratch through the door. It's just not going to happen. I need to go to where they are, or they need to find a way to get me to them. They cry or something, we need food, we've not eaten in 10 minutes, oh gosh, it's terrible. Yeah, Papa Joey, I'm right down allergic to religion, but I'm open to things that are considered spiritual. Yeah, and that's probably because, like I said, the word, it actually means to bind. That's what it means. And people don't even notice when they're doing it. It's so crazy, but when you say that, and then you hold up a lot of the terrible things that have been done to the light, right? It makes sense. It's like, oh, that, now I understand everything. It's goofy as can be. It really is. All right. Bias against some leading to, so personal bias ends with discussing how when presented with these things, they have an emotional reaction versus an objective analysis, which Okay. All right. Number 4, lack of openness. Some debunkers may lack openness to new experiences or ideas. Uh, I know a couple of people like this. Not debunkers. I mean, I wouldn't be against knowing debunkers. I'm fine with everybody. I don't think they would like me very much personally. Um, but I have a handful of friends that lack some openness. And to be fair, talking with them helped show some of my lack of openness. I have a friend that lives out in the Midwest, and he was telling me, like, we were talking about racism, and he's like, I was like, why do you talk about race? It doesn't make any sense. Like, where are you finding these racists? And he said, down my block, there's like 5 of them, like on my, it's like, wait, what? See, I was raised in New York, where, and, I had Sesame Street, and a lot of TV shows are made to portray New York or California. So in my head, everywhere looked like where I live. Now I live in the mountains, right? And when I see television, it's like, that looks like New York. So I can definitely understand that. But so when I was explaining, it's like, listen, like where I'm at, where I was, there's no, outward racist. You have biases, but everybody has those. I have biases for all kinds of things. It makes life easier. People say, like, oh, you shouldn't assume. When I wake up in the morning, I assume that gravity still functions. I don't have to question and test everything. I would never get through 10 minutes of my day if every single thought had to be questioned. So, but yeah, this lack of openness, like, with him, it very much is like, oh no, this can't happen. Funny enough, he also is, he doesn't debunk paranormal or anything like that, but I could see him doing it. Actually, I should have probably added this to the list. He's a rabble rouser. He likes to stir the pot for fun, and it's a good time. I don't get upset. I don't know that. I mean, he does upset some people, and those people, just don't talk to him. Right? It's your choice. Okay, carrying on. Ego and identity. Okay. We've seen it before. Someone sees Bigfoot and then they become the Bigfoot person. I'm not talking about Mike the Naked Bigfoot. I mean, like, people, they make like the TV circuit and everything, and that becomes everything about who they are. They are Mr. Bigfoot. And if somehow you could definitively prove that Bigfoot wasn't real to this person, it would be life-altering for them, because so much of their life and identity has been, like, tied to, connected to, glued to Bigfoot. So you have people, actually this is kind of like my buddy that likes to stir the pot, where, I'm a very logical person. That's why I can't believe in these things. And it's silliness too, because he's clearly blind to himself, because he does so, everybody does illogical things. Also, everybody's a hypocrite. Every one of us, it's the truth. But having a big ego and then outwardly, like, vocally making a statement, a committed statement, I believe in blank, I don't believe in blank, these people can get walled off, and it's almost like they're not allowed to change their mind because of themselves. They themselves put themselves in a situation where they can't change their minds. And that's very sad. Okay. Fear of the unknown. This is not one that, I don't know that a lot of debunkers, you'd have to be really afraid of the unknown for this to happen, but if you were afraid of the unknown, if you had to understand everything, and you were at even irregular intervals presented with this information, this knowledge, it might create a situation where you are forced to reject it hard and publicly, right? Because you literally can't handle it. And then also, what you're really doing there, if you think about it, is you're using anger to mask fear, which, why are they so angry? Well, some of them are probably masking very real fears. If ghosts are real, what does that mean? What does that mean for after someone passes away? What does it have any meaning for before you're born, right? If this energy is neither cannot be created or destroyed, where is it? How does time work? There's all of these these questions. And there's been times where I've thought of these questions, and it can be overwhelming. I'm standing out there looking at the night sky, and the night sky is very big. It's a big sky. And you just like if the sky could fall down, I would be crushed. It would take, in the blink of an eye, I'm gone. So, and when stuff like that would happen, you take a break, you pull back. You can't sit there and, oh gosh, no. You gotta pull back, think about things you can understand. All right, I know how to make cookies. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. Okay, the train is moving forward. Now, there's this stuff that I don't understand. Should I be afraid of this? Does it look dangerous? You can go through the things, but some people never, ever, they can't make it there. There could be different reasons. I'm sure there are different reasons, but for any number of reasons, they are not prepared to get to that point. Number 7, and this is one that I think you see a lot in like schools and stuff, social and peer pressure. Okay, in high school, I hadn't given Bigfoot a lot of thought. This is not a Bigfoot talk, but I hadn't given Bigfoot a lot of thought. But if someone asked if I believed, I would have said no. I didn't give it a lot of thought. And everyone around me would have also said no. You didn't want to look silly, right? There's all kinds of things you do to avoid looking silly in high school. When I was a little kid, I hated my hair because my hair is very thick, and I think my mom didn't know how to do it. So my entire elementary school, I went living thinking my hair was bad hair. And eventually, in junior high, I switched barbers because I switched schools. And the guy's name was Izik, I-Z-I-K. Why would I remember my barber's name from like 30 years ago? Well, he was the first person that said my hair was incredible. My mom is sitting there like complaining about my hair, and he's, what do you mean? His hair is beautiful. Look how thick it is. And he's like pulling at my hair, telling my mom my hair is beautiful. And I'm like, it's pretty good hair. It's pretty good hair. So, and then when I went to high school to fit in, right? Because that's what we're, elementary, hair wouldn't fit in. Junior high, I'm kind of coming into my own. In high school, everybody's hair that was in my social circle, your hair went up and in spikes and in crazy places. My thick hair with some wax would go and torn like this huge thorny mess. And it was great. So there we go. In elementary school, oh gosh, this hair is terrible. I can't control it. My mom would put mousse on it and try to get it to like, not important. And then in high school, if what my mom wanted happened successfully, it would have been a catastrophe, right? So peer pressure, social pressure, these things are very, very real. And people even say things they don't mean. They will lie to you. Literally, it's like, do you believe in X, Y, Z? No. Nope. And then the second you leave, yeah, they totally believe it. They just, for whatever reason, fear, peer pressure, not wanting to get into it, they're not in the mood for it. Sandy took the express route. Sandy ignored everyone at school. And, yeah, I ignored quite a few people at school. I ignored quite a few people. We had a nice little band of us that hung out together. It was good. But I still ignore people today. Oh, man. And number 8, previous negative experiences. If a debunker has had a negative personal experience related to the paranormal or beliefs, if they were deceived or hurt by somebody, this could very easily contribute to their angry demeanor when discussing these topics and a desire to bring them down. It's like smoke and mirrors. They can't undo whatever damage was done. If Gerald somehow hurt Paul, and when Paul was 8, well, Gerald lives in Cincinnati now and has a wife and kids, and Paul will never find him now. And even if he did, what would he say? You hurt my feelings this many. So what does he do? He can't get Gerald, so he has to go and find people that are like Gerald, right? And so if Gerald tricked him using some kind of ghost, little smoke and mirrors or whatever, as a child, well, now I will prove all of this is fake. This person's on a crusade. And to be fair, that specific, they're not really even controlling themselves anymore. It's very, very sad. But that's just why I think they're so angry. I probably missed a good half a dozen, right? If you have any ideas, thoughts, comments, please put them in the comments. Do not forget to like the video. If you have not ordered a calendar from Super Horror Show, the Scary Tales 2024 calendar, you can still do so and get it. I mean, not for nothing. I'll sell you the calendar in the middle of the year, but the eBay listing won't be up. You'd have to contact me personally then, and that would be silliness because half the year would be done. All right, so until tomorrow, everyone take good care of yourself. I'll see you then.